speakers to to speak so interesting things about the national activities, but I'd like to focus on strategic importance of language technology in Estonia. I am the head of the Center of Estonian Language Resources, and which is funded mostly by the European structural funds, as you see from the flags on my first title slide. And if somebody is more interested in our activities, we let the leaflets to the table there. There is more about our cooperation with Klarin Erik and Metanet. But now, in my speech, I'd like to focus on Estonian language and why it's so important to have a language technology support to our language, and also what we have made already for supporting Estonian language in a digital age. Estonian language is a Finno-Ugric language, close to Finnish, far from Hungarian. About 1 million mother tongue speakers all over the world. And it's only official language in the Republic of Estonia. But language is a dialect with an army and a navy. This sentence is claimed to have author as Max Weinrich, but he heard it from a member of the audience at one of his lectures. But it's very important proverb. It's a question of power. What is language and what is a dialect? And but what about dialects with language technology support? If we see there are only 1 million mother tongue speakers all over the world of one language, and but this language have an army and a navy as well. And it's official language in Republic of Estonia. So the Estonian as official language. It's official language in European Union. We have a language act of Republic of Estonia where there is said status of Estonian language, official and public use of language, and Estonian literary standard. It's again a special form of Estonian language. A foreign language and the language of national minorities. And also there is mentioned the Estonian Language Council. But we have also the development plan of the Estonian language. And there is on chapter 4 is told how we must study Estonian language and how we must study language resources. And also in chapter 5 there is written that we must support Estonian language technologically. But what about the speakers, or the population of Estonia as a market for example, IT? The total population is only 1.3 million, and nearly 70% are Estonians. They say they are Estonians. And 25% they say that they're Russians, and there are also ethnic groups like Ukrainians, Belarusians, Finns, Tatars, Jews, Latvians, and Lithuanians as well. All our neighbors who influenced our language as well, but the situation is like it is. And the speakers. Speakers of Estonian language, as I already said, Estonia as a mother tongue is told by 1 million all over the world, but only 68% of Estonian population speaks it as a mother tongue. And in that group, the mother tongue, the native speakers, there is also a quite big amount, 15% who are also able to speak a dialect, different dialects of Estonian language. And these dialects, they don't have army and navy. That's the reason why they are not official languages in Estonia. And the biggest group is speaking Võru or Setu dialect. And surprisingly, we have also the language technology for Võru and Setu dialects. Estonian as foreign language is spoken by the 14%, and amazingly, quite big amount of population don't speak Estonian, even if it's official language. And for that reason, as I said earlier, we have a development plan of the Estonian language where there is stipulated that language technology support is very important. We have state-funded activities in language technology since 2006. And the main objective from that development plan says that language technology support for the Estonian language will be on an equal level with that of other languages in countries with advanced language technology. It's every time a question, what is the level of advanced language technology for a special natural language? So the national program for Estonian language technology is financed from state budget in the earlier period, 3.4 million euros total for 5 years. And now in this period, 765,000 euros per year. It's managed by steering committee, which consists of language technology experts and ministry's officials, and it's altogether funded by the Ministry of Education and Research. But important thing is that the results of project as made by public money are declared public. And the Center of Estonian Language Resources is required to deposit all such resources and tools for preservation and long-term access. Let's look a little of the previous period results. There were funded HLT-related research and development activities, including the creation of reusable language resources and development of essential linguistic software up to the working prototypes. It's very important to mention that up to the working prototypes, not so much end-user tools. as well as bringing the relevant language technology infrastructure up to date. So the Center of Estonian Language Resources is such an infrastructure. And there were 3 measures in that period program, and 33 projects in wide range of topics were the results in in a prototype level or in a continuously updating level. But some results could be nice to rise up here, like success in speech synthesis and recognition, compilation of large digital language corpora, lexical resources and tools such as databases. Machine translation succeeds some. Also information dialogue and morphosyntactic and semantic analysis and language software for the web. But continuing period as from the 2011 till 2017 focus on implementation and integration of the existing resources and software prototypes in public services. And there are 3 old and 2 new measures. And maybe it's good to click on the project list here to see what is going on by the, oh, thank you. And where is the mouse now? Aha. You see the pointer? Ah, here, there it is. So let's make it bigger here. So the project, the list of projects is here, and it seems to be quite interesting. If you are interested in these projects, you can read the English version about the project descriptions, but I must say that not all projects have yet maintained and updated their English page. But anyway, there seems to be a quite impressive name of the projects. And as you see, for example, the first one here is use machine translation, usable Estonian machine translation, and it's the project leader is Mark Fischel, but we have also Tilde Estonia leading the project Linguistic Knowledge in Estonian Machine Translation, and also there is another Tilde project as well. So here, Estonian Open Parallel Corpus. So we have very nice cooperation with Tilde Estonia as well. But I'd like to there is a Võru and Setu language corpus. As I mentioned earlier, Võru and Setu are the dialects without army and navy, but they have a kind of language technology resources. Now, I'd like to oh, wrong way. I make it small. Such funny things we are developing, but again, all results, the software and linguistic data must be reusable as freely as possible. It's a condition made by the funders, by the state. Just a little overview of the financing per measures. As you see, the biggest part of the projects take the software project and also the projects for language resources and linguistic data. The others are minor projects. But let's see the results by the measures. So the first measure was a research and development project building language technology software, mostly prototypes. And the range of results is quite broad, from software prototypes to component software, not as often applications for end users. But there are still some impressive projects like a speech recognition project building web and mobile applications, and all these results are freely available, linked in the project website. And also the application suite for voicing and broadcasting subtitles on television is really a usable result. So all our handicapped blind people can hear what is read in the subtitles, because our broadcasting is not dubbed, it's more subtitles, so we can hear the foreign language, the original language very well. The other was research and development project building language resources and language technology data. So, of course, there are corpora, lexicons, also for everyday use and for language research, and as well to IT applications. It also relates to topics of big data and digital cultural heritage. And some remarkable results are the Keeleweb portal, where there are linked corpora, lexicons, term bases, and NLP tools for end users as well. And also the Estonian WordNet. So the Center of Estonian Language Resources is a research infrastructure of Estonian language digital resources, and we have an obligation to manage and to deposit all resources and tools developed by the within the national program, and we manage and deposit them for preservation and long-term access. And we are also an infrastructure of a national importance in the Estonian research infrastructure's roadmap. And we perform as organizational framework for coordinating and implementing the obligations of Estonia as the member in Clarin ERIC. And this is just a figure how in structurally it could work, that we have a repository where we deposit the resources from different institutions, like Institute of Estonian Language, which is our consortium partner, University of Tartu, Tallinn Technical University of Cybernetics, Tallinn Technical University Institute of Cybernetics. But also the external resource providers can deposit their language resources and tools connected with Estonian language. They can deposit in our repository, and we are connected with the Clarin-ERIC infrastructure and network of Clarin centers. We can change the metadata and also the access to the resources with the Clarin partners, but via Clarin we can do that to all over the world as the conditions, legal conditions allow it. And the two last new measures in our program are integrated language software and development projects ordered by the steering committee. In first of that, technical aids for people with special needs, as I already told, the blind people, and interfaces for public services are expected in that measure. And notable project is a generation of audiobooks and voicing interface of Digar. Digar is a big collection of articles, digital articles and papers in a national library. And the last one, the software development project, which was ordered by the proposal of steering committee. It was open source morphological analyzer software and ordered from the only one Estonian fully language technology company, Philosopht. They have created that morphological analyzer, which is a core of for example, Microsoft Speller for Estonia. They have developed it since 1995 or something, but it was a private tool. It was they owned that tool, what they developed, but now the state money paid for that gives the license and the source code freely available. Now, and everybody can develop it more and more. But I'd like to shortly talk about the risks in our program to achieve the objectives. The projects are applied within an open competition. So the ideas which inspire researchers do not fully cover the objectives of the program. So the language technology support for Estonian is not systematically developed. For example, we are missing grammatical analysis because the researchers think that it's too complicated task. Let's do something easier, maybe. Research and development projects. The researchers are mostly interested in a result as a prototype rather than the stable application, which can be integrated into software products. Relation to IT business and production is weak. How to implement prototypes which support Estonian language on behalf of information society. So you are welcome to develop our prototypes to the products. National program does not deal explicitly with the education of a new generation of language technologists. And results, especially language resources, are often subject to copyright protection. Results or mostly the content of the corpora and language data. So we have a kind of problems anyway to make results available. And critical factors and risks. Underfunding, of course, is one of them. The other is a number of specialists, how many of them we have working in the field. Relatively low interest of Estonian IT enterprises. Potential change in language attitudes, as I started with the amount of speakers. The language attitudes can change, and in a language or in the IT world, the people use much more software English versions. If it's not, in Estonia, if it's not translated into Estonian something in the IT world, then the people think, oh, it doesn't matter, I can use it in English. So the need is very small. And the fetishism language technology leads higher expectations to language technology solutions than they can offer. And as a conclusion, I started strategic importance of language technology support in Estonia. The continuous funding of our national program and education have paid off. And the state of language technology relatively good compared to languages with the same amount of speakers, as I started with only 1 million speakers. Estonian language is not commercially viable. So the state needs to fund and coordinate the creation, the language technology. The public funding and the research needs not only funding but people as well. We have some bachelor programs, master programs in language technology and computer linguistics. And finally, the language support for Estonian language. The state of language resources is reasonably good. If there were measures in a MetaNet white paper, we are not in the weakest group in every criteria. So the public funding has guaranteed availability as well. Commercial tools for text analysis are high quality but not freely available. Now they are freely available. Freely available and publicly funded tools are of a reasonably good quality but need further development. And the research has resulted in tools that are available but should be regarded as prototypes. They can and should be further developed into widely usable tools, but we have, as a result of project, high-quality software, but sustainability can be an issue because there are a lack of documentation and standardization. So, thank you for attention. Tänan tähelepanu eest.